Right, let's get on to the tactics board as well. You've been at Kerry's 2 games this year.
Yeah.
And just tell us how they're setting up and how it's different to maybe what was done under Eamon Fitzmaurice.
We don't have a goalkeeper marker, which you don't obviously need.
We don't. Well, you can use the blue one for now.
I might just set up here on my side here.
Take that over there.
It's just kind of important just to point out the goalkeeper first of all, that it's Shane Ryan who stepped into goals for Kerry this year. There's no guarantee that once Shane Murphy finishes up with Dr. Crokes, he's automatically going to go back into goals, because this guy is very, very good. There was some talk about a little bit of conflict that he didn't actually play for Kerry over the last couple of years, that he was perhaps asked to play goalkeeper for his club, plays outfield for his club and is brilliant outfield for his club, and now that rule may have been relaxed. We'll see once the club football comes back in, but he's back in with the Kerry camp and he's been excellent for the first couple of games, although we don't really know until they get a full midfield out exactly how that's going to operate.
What's this rule you're talking about, for those who wouldn't know about it, this rule that you're talking about that got in the way for Shane Ryan?
Well, it's not a rule as such, it was just a particular preference that Shane Ryan...
Sort of the Simon Zebo rule, where it's
a Kerry tradition,
explicit rule, but it's kind of...
If you want to be goalkeeper for Kerry, you need to be playing in goals for your club, which I think is a fairly reasonable request in most cases, except in this rather exceptional case. He was taking frees for his club, he was a brilliant forward. But anyway, he's goalkeeper there, and he is until Crokes get knocked out at the very least. So the way I'm looking at it now, granted, they've come up against Cavan and Tyrone in the first couple of games. Tyrone, terrible on day one. But it seems to me that they're going to certainly play 2 lads in their full back line, 2-man markers. So you've got Peter Crowley as one, and then my own clubman Jack Sherwood as the other. He's Kerry's full back for the first 2 games. They'll pick up men. It depends who it's going to be at the weekend. Will it be Mannion and Rock? Chances are it will be. But interestingly, right in front of them, and I'm just going on the Cavan game now for this one, sat Paul Murphy. And we were chatting about this earlier on, that perhaps the deterrent of the new rule, the offensive mark, makes somebody like Paul Murphy quite effective. Now, there was one occasion when, the other day, when a Cavan man just kind of came through the middle of Kerry's defence and just shrugged off Paul Murphy and went straight through, and I think put the ball over the bar. So, as an actual sweeper, I don't think he's that effective, and he's not the future there. But for the duration of the league, just an extra body in there to stop the offensive mark option, I think he's going to sit there, and I think it's going to happen again at the weekend. Against Tyrone, they swapped that role. So Crowley hopped out to sweeper for a little while, Tom O'Sullivan hopped out to sweeper for a little while, but I'm not sure if that was by design. I think it was such slow build-up that Kerry lads could actually see which way Tyrone were going to kick the ball and just hopped in there. So they had a rotating carousel of sweepers. So we'll say Paul Murphy's going to go in there for the time being. Let's go to the 3 half-backs here. So for me, for what I could see at the moment, we've got Tig Morley on this wing, at right wing back. That's probably the most regimented position we've got so far in the back line. Then you've got the other 2 half-backs, which is going to be Tom O'Sullivan and Brino Biogliac. Now, Biogliac out here can drop back to mark a man. Who's he going to pick up? If Conor Callaghan starts the weekend, there's a chance that Biogliac is going to look after that. He was brilliant going forward the last day, made some crucial interceptions out around the 45, his best game in a Kerry shirt. The other 2, as I say, Tom Sullivan here at centre-back, I expect him, like Diarmuid O'Connor this year for Mayo, to have a huge year, potential all-star. So that's the way Kerry will set up, I guess, if you look at it on a conventional level. We're not going to get into the blanket defence just yet. What really interests me now is the midfield. As I say, we can't judge Shane Ryan until, for me, David Moran starts. I want to see a full 70 minutes with David Moran there and see how Shane Ryan's kickouts are. So at the weekend last week, what they went with was Jack Barry and Adrian Spillane. Then we have Sean O'Shea here at centre forward. I want to come back to the midfield in just a while. So Sean O'Shea can drop deeper. He likes to take the ball up around here and run at the man through the centre of the park. A sweeper's eye on Sean O'Shea would be a crucial part if Dublin elect to play one this Saturday night, which they probably will. Just to run through the rest of the midfield then. New guy, Diarmuid O'Connor. Good ball carrier, as with Jonathan Lyne, another ball carrier.
Another Diarmuid O'Connor.
Another Diarmuid O'Connor. Okay. This guy from Nagale, he's an excellent footballer.
Jonathan Lyne, probably more of a back traditionally, up and wing forward.
Yeah, but a ball carrier is key. Yeah. And what I think will actually happen is one of these lads is going to get dropped for the weekend and Darragh Moynihan will start. He didn't start against Cavan because they were arresting him after playing Sigerson up in Belfast during the week last week. So he's going to come back to the team. Darragh Moynihan's been brilliant. So either Diarmuid O'Connor or Jonathan Lyne's going to get dropped. Probably Diarmuid O'Connor, to be quite honest with you, for this weekend. Then we get into the 3 forwards. So we've got Paul Gainey last week and Killian Spillane, who's probably not going to start this weekend either, inside. And then we've got Stephen O'Brien here.
Yeah.
So this is where we get into kind of the complicated area of how Kerry are actually setting up. I do think they'll keep the 2-man full forward line even without the ball at a certain point. So it's the first minute of the match and Dublin have the ball. I expect them to keep 2 up front here. What happens then is obviously the midfield will drop back and we'll have Sean O'Shea here who's willing to drop back. But I think these lads will also go back with them. So these will be Darragh Moynihan and Jonathan Lyne, and we will have 13 men behind the ball. And that will be their plan A. They turn over the ball, get a score, and then go 13 men behind the ball again, assuming the build-up is quite slow. But if things start to go a little bit wrong for them, then Stephen O'Brien will drop back, which they've already shown. Or if things continue to go against them, then they will go the full 15 back at that point, which is what we've seen for a huge part of the first game against Cavan, the first half against Cavan last week, and for a decent selection of the game against Tyrone as well. What I do want to just touch on briefly here is the substitutes that Kerry made on Saturday, because they are extremely telling. So the first one was Darragh Moynihan on for Killian Spillane. He's going to start at the weekend. Tommy Walsh came on for Jonathan Lyons. So if you just want to focus on the attack here, Tommy Walsh came in kind of roaming around here every time Kerry had the ball out to the left wing, claimed a couple of marks. He claimed one mark and he put it badly wide, but he claimed a few bouncing balls, actually low ball into the chest, activating runners off the shoulder here, which worked a treat for Kerry late on. So Tommy Walsh going out to the wing worked very well. We had Mark Griffin on for Diarmuid O'Connor, which was a very interesting one.
Formerly full-back.
Myself and my Kerry Mafia comrades who go to all the games, a personal endeavour is to see Mark Griffin play midfield for Kerry, because we've seen him. You'll have seen him in the big games. Gets the ball, bursts out of the back. Like Tommy Griffin, exactly. I want to see him out. Like the half-back line at the moment for Kerry is quite a strong position with Morley, O'Sullivan, O'Beog League, so I can't see him there, but potentially as a midfielder, because, and this is the key part, Peter Keane loves to play a third midfielder in all his teams over the past couple of years, and that made this substitute very, very interesting. And this is a potential name we need to be watching out for. It is Gavin O'Brien who came on. So there was a substitution. Gavin O'Brien came on for Adrian Spillane, like for like in midfield. But then Stephen O'Brien was taken off and David Moran came on for him. So at that point, you're looking at three midfielders in the Kerry team. You had Jack Barry on the pitch, you had David Moran on the pitch, and you had Gavin O'Brien on the pitch. And basically, like this. One took the right wing, one took the middle, one took the left wing, and this is when Kerry went on their purple patch near the end of the game.
Where was Griffin?
Against Cavan. Mark Griffin was kind of hovering in around half back. At this point the game started to get quite disjointed. There was a black card, Tom O'Sullivan was in the sin bin, there was a blood sub. Kerry actually had 16 men on the pitch at one point until the referee actually told them to stop.
How long was that
and get
at
back.
this stage?
Well, David Moore doesn't come on the pitch until the 69th minute.
And had you kicked the point
there
today
were
by
78
that
minutes played. The point to go ahead I think was 68.
Okay.
I can't quite recall. I should have a match report in front of me. But that basically tells us what we need to know. The sweeper, I'm not convinced we're going to continue with it. I think it's a bit of an ailment. I think it's a bit of a medicine against the big direct quest for a mark. But the three-man midfield, it's going to be like a bit of a Giant's Causeway. And like this is the big dilemma now. Does he continue to go with wing forwards that are like Jonathan Lyons and Darragh Moynihan, who are brilliant runners, turning defence into attack with rapid transition, or does he sacrifice one of them to play a big man like Gavin O'Brien to claim the kickouts? That's the big question, and the team sheet for Saturday night is going to be very, very telling.
That's quite the pro-Kerry rant there. I will say, what I do like about it is if you have got Killian Spillane and Paul Gainey up front and the rest of the team is pretty defensive, having Sean O'Shea as a baller there and having Sean O'Brien's pace or Stephen O'Brien's pace there on the counter, I think is good. But it might be a thing where Kerry are only starting out. Let's see how they go in 6 months, in a year, in 2 years, because this is all building towards what they want.
Potentially, but the thing is, like, there's been a marked improvement in their tackling, a marked improvement in their intensity. It's not like Donny Buckley is a new coach in the Kerry team and he's putting his print on them. Yeah. He's been in there before. It's kind of just like a triggering again of some of the things they used to know. Peter Keane's minor teams were brilliant challengers of the ball. It's not just the positioning, it's the ability to actually turn the ball over, which is another thing.
So who would Keane have had while he was minor manager? Would it be Moynihan? Would he have had Gavin O'Brien? Yeah. I've heard you talking about Gavin O'Brien a couple of times now.
Well, Gavin O'Brien was mentioned to me by Mike Quirk at the Kerry game a couple of weeks ago, because he would be his club manager, and he really kind of said that this guy's got a very good chance of being involved with Kerry for the championship. And on his performance last week, albeit he came on as a sub, I tend to agree with him, because he's not only a big fella, I think could be 6'3", 4'5", but he's also got burning pace. To make a good rugby comparison for you, Jacob Stockdale kind of springs to mind when you see a fella who's that big and you're like, how can he move that quickly?
Flanker on the wing.